I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, the creepy, and the strange.
And I drink.
So what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Well, I don't have my thing up here. I thought I did. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
This unprepared bastard.
I mean, like, I was prepared, but...
but then you're just not, though.
Yeah. There it was right there.
Oh,
okay.
Story of my life.
Like, I was prepared, but then anyway. Okay. Our beer for the night is not a beer. It's Bellini Spritz Mango Peach Rosé, manufactured for Miami Cocktail Company Incorporated in Miami, Florida. 4.2% alcohol by volume. Let's read the box because these come in little 4-packs, the cans do, and there's some information on the box. So let's go for it. Sparkling rosé, delicately paired with fresh peaches and a touch of mango juice, is what makes this Bellini so special. Light, fragrant, and refreshing. A perfectly balanced cocktail. End quote. What I have to say is it's fruity, crisp, exquisite. I really enjoy this a lot. It is so tasty. And honestly, I looked at Leah off the first sip. This really happened. I said, oh, that makes me think of peach yogurt. Because it's got a creaminess to it, that it tastes exactly like a cup of fruit on the bottom peach yogurt. It's so freaking good. I love these things, and we saw a bunch of them at our liquor shop. So
yeah, they had like 3 or 4 other varieties of this stuff, and for those that are like health inclined or shit, they're only 110 calories a can, and they are pretty low in sugar. There's no added sugar.
They're organic.
Yeah, they're organic. Yeah. So like, if that shit's like your jam, this stuff is. Oh god damn it, Leah.
For real. All right, you talk for a minute while I mark that.
This stuff is lovely and not the D word. I apologize very much for saying that. However, even if you're not a wine drinker, we haven't tasted the other flavors, and because I've tasted this one, I would like to get some of the other flavors.
Yeah, me too.
But as of this one, the Bellini Spritz and the Miami Cocktail Company cans are quite nice.
I agree.
They're easy drinking. They're not too sweet. They're not bitter. I think anybody that likes the flavor of peach can pick one up and drink it, no problem. So
I will say this, though. The 4-pack of cans, excuse me, I have to burp, and they're small cans. What are they, like 8 ounces?
I'd say 12,
I have so many.
Sure.
No, 8.4 fluid ounces. Okay. That was $12 for 4 of those.
Yeah, they are expensive.
They taste great, though, and they're not going to get you drunk because they're 4.2%. But wonderful. Go try them if you have them anywhere near you.
It feels like a classy beach drink, you know?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's perfect. It's wonderful. And I can't wait to try the other ones.
Yep.
Our shot in the dark for the night, Mark & Digger's HazelnutRum Moonshine. Produced and bottled by Sugarlands Distilling Company, LLC in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. 40% alcohol by volume. And if you want to hear the full review, go back to episode 136. That was almost 20 episodes ago now, Leah.
Good night.
It was called Resting Cryptid Face. If you want to see that. Yes, you do. It's got a 9 out of 10. It's a good moonshine, just like everything from Sugarlands. And that's it for the alcohols. And before we get into much of anything else, I want to say I got a new tablet. They were on sale at Costco, $100. So it's a new Galaxy Tab. So there will be brand new sound effects.
Everybody is not excited, Mitchell.
We'll wait and see.
It's a you-only situation.
We'll wait and see.
But we might not have to wait for ads.
Yeah.
Does this one have ads?
Yes, but I turn on... The thing is, though, that I have this tablet linked to my phone. Mm-hmm. So every notification that comes into my phone also comes to the tablet. So I've turned on airplane mode on the tablet.
Okay.
So there shouldn't be any ads, as far as I know. It doesn't have data, so it has to be connected to Wi-Fi to get shit. Just saying.
All right. Okay.
Let's see.
Work around.
But the thing is, I downloaded the sound effects board, and it has a gigantic amount of sound effects. We'll see if people like them. We'll see if I like them, because I've played with it a bunch, but it's a lot of voices, like people, whoever made this is doing, impressions of things. Like here's one.
Fight.
Like that's not from Mortal Kombat. That's somebody who's like, I'm going to do the Mortal Kombat thing. Like in here, it's MK Fight. So there's that.
I don't like that.
Ready.
See? Mm-mm. It's not.
Do they have finish him?
No, that's not on here.
It's my favorite one.
But the good thing is, like, there's a weapons tab on here. So my idea is every time that we have a shot in the dark, I'm doing a brand new one. I'm doing a brand new shot in the dark, like, notifier.
Do I have to guess the weapon? And if I guess the weapon correctly...
Ooh, we should do that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because there's, like, it's not just firearms. Like, there are so many kinds of weapons on here. Like, I'm going to give you one. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do anything.
Okay.
I'm saving it completely.
Save it for the shot in the dark. But
I'm never doing anything. If we get a shot in the dark, you're getting a brand new sound effect to signify, hey, it's shot in the dark time.
Okay.
And yes, we're going to play Leah's guessing the sound effect for the shot in the dark. Oh, man.
What's the
I didn't
punishment,
even think about
though?
that. There isn't one. It's just a fun game.
Okay, cool.
It's just us enjoying ourselves. Leah.
Excellent.
It's not a big deal.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah. That's everything that I have.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Leah.
All right, we have some listener emails that I want to get to.
Oh, okay.
Listener emails.
Yeah, that's right. We did get some, didn't we? Go ahead.
Okay. The emails are from Barbara. Hey, Barbara!
Hey, Barbara!
And I especially liked this email, so I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
She said, OMG, those blogger names, y'all had me rolling. I came up with a couple for you.
Okay.
And I'm excited to read these for you because I don't think you've seen the email yet.
No, I saw the email came in and I said, Leah, there's an email.
Yeah.
You need to go look at it because it's never for me.
Yeah, it's generally not for you. But the names that she came up with are as follows. XL Excursioners. I like that one.
Excel?
XL.
Like X, like the letter X?
XL,
Okay.
Yeah. Not like Excel, like we're going to do a bunch of spreadsheets, but
like
XL as in we're big folks.
Excelsior.
It would need to be like XXL, but fine. XL Excursioners.
I haven't been an XXL excursioner in about a decade, Barbara.
The Jolly Journeyers. I like that too.
Not bad.
And Fluffy Touring.
Okay.
I think it's fun.
All right, that's offensive.
I don't think so. And she said, I've also really been enjoying the opening banter lately. So thank you, Barbara, for those compliments and for those names. I like it.
At least
I think I came up with a name. And I've come up with a logo. Yeah.
Okay.
You saw the logo.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So
I like it.
I don't know.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up because I'm the queen of starting a project and not fucking finishing it. So
YouTube channel.
I don't know. Don't come at me with my own situation because I'm bad at keeping motivation.
Well, before you get to her second one, let's go ahead and say that I've decided that I'm going to start streaming video games. And there's nothing. It's not going to be interesting. But
it's going to be boring as fuck. But if you want to watch,
I'm going to do it. Me and some friends want to play like Halo and Grand Theft Auto and maybe a little bit of MLB The Show.
So far, it's only been baseball.
Yeah, but I've been playing with friends, and we're just streaming. Like eventually, I'm going to learn how to do video stuff and actually put them on YouTube. But if you want to come watch, go to twitch.tv/MitchyPooGames, MITCHY. POOGAMES, and that will be the YouTube channel as well. I already have that. I just haven't put anything there. So,
and I, for one, am petitioning to have just one day of streaming to be devoted to us playing Trivial Pursuit because that can get intense. And I'm just saying it would be a much more entertaining game to stream than your baseball game.
No, it wouldn't. But I do it. The only problem is that I would want a camera over the top of the board to actually watch the board, but we only have the one camera that can stream.
Yeah.
So, maybe we can do something with like your laptop or something. We could figure something out. I
don't know. I don't know how any of that works, but I'm just saying if you want to see us if you want to see me beat Mitchell in Trivial Pursuit, it's a possibility.
Okay. I know we have another email, so
yes,
do that one.
we do. Also from Barbara, and the title is McGangbang, because that's a thing.
It is
and
a
she
thing.
says
I told you it was a thing.
Quote, I can also vouch for that. In New York, 1995, we consumed and called them McGangbangs. If you don't know what that is in reference to, you probably didn't listen to the last episode, and bless your heart, I don't blame you.
We have been off for 2 weeks, so.
We have. We had some situations come up and wasn't able to get out a episode. I was going to say an appointment, and that just means that I've been at my job in physical person for too long.
Well, we also didn't get out an appointment either.
No, didn't get that either. But yeah, so It's been a weird transition back into not working from my couch, and I just, man, I hate it. But we're still alive. We're making it.
You're doing great.
So
I believe in you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. So for the sassy Southern saying of the evening, we're going to be revisiting an old one because we got an email about an old one. And I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay.
Let me get to that email.
Let me get to that email.
All right. This email is from Cody, and I'm just going to read it for you.
Okay.
It says, "Hey, y'all. Okay, I was just reading ExploreSouthernHistory.com. I recommend that website. It's really fun. There's a lot of interesting topics. Anyway, ExploreSouthernHistory.com, and I came across something I think is interesting. On episode 95, titled The Guy That Nuked the Chickens, the sassy Southern saying was, Lord willing and the creek don't rise.
Yeah.
According to this article on Explore Southern History, it was originally Lord willing and the creeks don't rise, referring to the Creek Native Americans and the Creek War of 1813 to 1814.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the first time that I've seen this explanation, and I had to tell you about it immediately. From now on, whenever I hear that phrase, I'll be sure to explain that it stemmed from us white people hoping those pesky indigenous people we stole land from wouldn't retaliate." And then he's linked to the article. Hope you're doing well, Cody.
What do you mean, us white people? Also, I think that's a lady. I think Cody is a she. Because you said he.
I'm sorry. I don't want to misgender anybody. Because I've got a friend that's got a K spelled that way that is a female, and I've also got one with a K spelled that way that's a male. So I have no idea. I'm sorry.
They linked to.
I very much apologize. Either way, clear that up if you'd like to, please. But thank you, them, for sending that. Y'all, I'm bad at pronouns.
Thank them.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Cody.
Al. I believe that Cody was a patron, right?
Yeah,
and did the episode guide.
Yes, they're the ones that actually did that. And once again, I feel bad for.
I believe that's a lady.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm not sure though.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
You
done fucked up.
Gender doesn't function in my brain the same way it functions for everybody else. So I'm sorry, I don't know.
Don't worry, I have sound effects for it. Hold on. Oh, no network. Shit. Hold on. Let me take off.
Coming back to bite you.
Take off airplane mode real quick so I can download this one sound effect because I really want it. I really want this one.
Oh, bless my
badly.
heart.
Come on.
Girl, bye.
There we go. There's another one.
Girl, bye.
Stop.
It keeps going.
Give me liberty.
Can you
or
stop?
Give me death.
Yeah, I'm done now.
I really need you to stop. Anyway, I apologize if I misgendered or re-misgendered or anyway.
I
sorry.
accept your apology.
My point is you're wrong. So actually, that particular little bit of misinformation has been wandering around the internet for quite some time. And I initially read it and believed it as well, so it's not just you. Don't feel bad. But according to all of the... And I mean, there is a little bit of etymological debate about it, but for the most part, most people believe that, in fact, they were talking about bodies of water when they said that phrase first. And it was not intentionally speaking of the Creek Native American tribes, because when that phrase, according to the story that comes along with that particular bit of information, the Creeks were in the longest period of peace with white folks that they had ever been in, and there would have been absolutely no reason for them to believe that the Creeks were going to rise in the first place. And along with a few other just general things that I'm not going to bore anybody else with, but most people believe that is just a little piece of folklore that has absolutely nothing to do with the truth. So most of the time, most people, and like I said, not all, it's very possible that, I'm wrong and whatever, but from what I can tell on the etymological sources that I looked up, most historians believe that in fact it was about, the sudden rainfall in Appalachia and not in fact the Native American tribe by the same name. So, I mean, maybe that's a little bit of redemption for the white people in the area. I mean, probably not, but...
No, not necessarily.
No, definitely not. But my point is don't believe everything that you read on the internet from the one source, because I can't tell you how many times that I have been down a rabbit hole of the most interesting, juicy, wonderful story, only to realize that it is a piece of fiction, or it was just a random ass creepypasta that people like put too much stock in, or it was the beginning of an ARG situation, and so like I said, I don't blame you for that one because I believed it too, but like I said, just like Google around, especially when it comes to like name origins and word origins and stuff like that. There are a lot of different etymological websites, especially things like the Oxford Dictionary. Their website goes back tracing a lot of specific words and phrases and that kind of thing. So just a fun thing. I thought it was interesting. So yeah, that was in place of our Sassy Southern saying for the evening.
Well, thank you for that. I'm so glad that we could prove someone wrong.
I didn't. I mean, like, that's no shade to anybody. Just putting that out there.
Leah has this to say, Cody.
This is my house.
I mean, it is my house, but everybody's welcome at my house. Not physically, please.
Do you see what I mean
Don't
about
come to my house.
the terrible voices that's on this app?
Yeah, no.
Long, sucker.
You've got to stop that, or I'm taking away your
There are
tablet privileges.
So many sound effects on here.
I'm definitely taking away your tablet privileges.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so
What's
yeah, that
next?
was our Sassy Southern saying of the evening. That really wasn't sassy, but just a fun bit of internet memery.
Excuse me.
Gross.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Thank you. Are we going to a story now?
Yay! You
Yay.
asked me. Okay.
I
Just
know
waiting
you-
to see if you would like.
Didn't know you were waiting on me.
Yeah, I was. I was waiting to see if you would like,
I'm gonna get the shot ready. This
segue
shot
us.
glass is filthy.
I
Let's move
asked you
that
if those were new or not.
It is new. That doesn't mean it's clean.
Is it one that I put in the dishwasher?
It most likely is,
You
yes.
always make fun of the way I load the dishwasher.
Well, okay. Leah gets upset with me because I say, you know what, let me load the dishwasher. Because every time she loads it, I go in not after her, but I go to unload the dishwasher, and things are still dirty.
but
So, Leah, just listen.
okay.
Just
hey,
listen.
Hey.
Just
hey.
listen.
Wait. Wait
Okay.
on me.
All right.
I did not grow up with a dishwasher. I washed all of my dishes by hand until we bought this
Then why do you
house.
put things in the dishwasher
And-
dirty?
Hey.
Why have you not
Hey.
cleaned them by hand?
Hey, because that's what the dishwasher's for.
No, it's not. That's
Yes, it
not
is.
what it does.
Yes, it is. And B, if I waited for you to load the dishwasher, our dishes would be in the sink for even longer than they already are.
That's not true.
That is very true.
Like the sink's full right now, but yeah, I need to go do them. But my thing is like there's no secret to loading the dishwasher. It's just don't put things on top of other things to where the jets won't hit them. That's all you have to do.
I don't stack things.
You literally stack
I
things in the
don't.
dishwasher. I've seen it.
I
That's why everything's still
don't.
dirty. Like there are bowls on top of bowls in the dishwasher.
No, they're not. They're separated in the racky thing that's made for the bowls.
It's not made for the bowls. It's made for cups. That's why that happens.
No, it's not. The little
Yeah,
little
it's made for
side
cups.
prongs. No, they're not. The side ones are made for cups.
No. Incorrect. That's why everything's still dirty.
Well, then go clean my dishes, sir,
No.
because
I'm going to. I'm just saying. It's not that difficult. But yeah, this shot glass is filthy. I don't even know what that is right there.
residue of some sort.
It
I'm
is. It's
sure.
not. It's not anything bad. It's actually just some laundry
The
detergent, dish detergent.
soap. Yeah. All right. Well,
That's all it is.
I'm just saying.
So we're not going to drink out of that one.
Wasn't gonna,
It's just this one.
because you're gonna lose.
Well, we'll see about the sound effect game first and foremost.
That doesn't have a shot attached. We already
No,
said.
it doesn't. But it's going to be fun either way.
All right. Okay. So we're going to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and we're going to be talking about Ghost Mountain. So this is a little bit of a ghost story that's local to that area, and people do talk about a haunting that's up on that mountain. And I'm going to tell you the folkloric, probably.
What?
Hear that too?
That's a motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
I thought like
There's
a
a
dog was
motorcycle
growling. I was
down-
like,
going
what the
down our street.
actual fuck?
No.
Sorry, y'all
Just a
probably couldn't
motorcycle.
hear that in the microphone, but I thought I thought it was like a wolf.
It's okay, Leah. It's just something going down the street. Move on.
I'm sorry.
You thought it was a wolf?
I did.
We got wolves.
I was was like, are you pressing a wolf, like
No.
a sound effect?
I didn't touch
What
anything.
the fuck? It was a motorcycle.
Let me see if there
I'm
is a wolf
sorry.
one.
Please don't touch it, Mitchell.
There's a wolf. There's a wolf one.
Not what I meant. But anyway, so bear in mind that this is probably folklore only and not actually something that happens. But, you know, I like those stories and I'm going to tell. Excuse me.
Okay.
All right. So this story, obviously, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, in the mid-30s.
Oh, excuse me.
So there's this old man. Well, he wasn't that old. He was like a middle-aged dude. Excuse me. Now I have the hiccups.
Yeah.
We got a problem.
Would you like a shot of hazelnut rum?
No.
It'll help. Mm-mm. Okay.
So there was this man, and it was the 1930s, and he lived in an old house, like a little log cabin up on the mountain, the side of the south. Let me try this
the
again.
site? Is that what you're saying?
Let me try this one more time. Hold on. He was living in a little log cabin, and it was on the mountain on the southeast side. It is southeast of what is now Drakefield Airport in Fayetteville, Arkansas, according to this book that I pulled this information from, which we'll talk about in a minute. But anyway, this guy had a bit of a problem with alcohols. He had a tendency to get drunk, but drunk to the point where he became a raging asshole bastard. You know, like
don't we
that
all?
kind of drunk.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, he did that pretty often, and also unfortunately, he had a family to come home and belligerently, batter and irritate. So he comes home one night. He's drunk, like real drunk, like fucking fall over if you pushed him kind of drunk.
Like good drunk.
Like no, bad drunk.
Good drunk.
No, bad drunk.
Good and drunk.
He's very drunk. Like 7 sheets to the wind or 3 sheets to Sunday. I don't know.
Creek don't rise. And
I'm forgetting some of my own phrases at this point, but he was good and sloppy. And
oh, those are my favorite movie candies, good and sloppies.
I thought those were good and plenties, and they're so gross.
That's the joke, Leah.
Oh, okay.
Jesus
I'm sorry.
Christ.
They're really awful. I don't like licorice, but anyway, so he comes home, he's super drunk, and his wife is trying to take care of their kid. It's like a toddler kind of situation, and
This
the
can
kid
only
is
go
sick.
well.
The kid is very sick. The kid is crying. The baby is screaming, just like upset. Because you know when toddlers and babies get fevers, they don't understand what's going on. They don't know why it hurts. They don't understand. And then they're going to cry and cry and cry and cry and cry and
I do the
scream
same thing
until
now.
they... Well, that's true, you do. But you get the man flu a lot. But the babies, get very sick and irritable. And it's very difficult to calm one because they don't understand what's going on, So this baby just keeps crying and screaming, and the mom is trying to quiet the baby down, calm the baby down, because she knows that she's married to a belligerent drunk asshole, and he just showed up, and she doesn't know what's going to happen if she can't get the baby to hush. But of course the man comes in, hears the baby screaming, and is very upset to the point where he's just physically like ready to kill people. And so instead of like just
So drunk he would fight a baby. You ever been baby fighting drunk?
I have never been baby fighting drunk, but this man was in fact baby fighting drunk.
Yeah.
So he gets upset. He goes into the room where the mom is taking care of the baby. He grabs the baby and he walks out the door with it.
Where's he going?
The mom is very upset because she
Grab that baby
realizes
and went,
that
you want to take this outside?
I mean, like, look, if I'm that drunk and I'm upset, like, why don't you go outside, dude? But no. Take the poor defenseless fucking baby. Takes the baby outside. The mom is following, going, what the fuck? Drop the baby. Like, take me, hurt me, don't touch the fucking baby. And he's just not having anything. He's beating her off. He's got this baby. And he goes to the well. He throws the baby down the well.
Oh, God.
Now, obviously, the wife is freaked the fuck out, very upset, and in like what could only be the only thing that you could do, she grabs the rope, the well rope, that you hoist the bucket up and down on. And she jumps in after the baby. She's trying to save the child. So she jumps down the well with the baby and is grabbing the child. And she's got that rope. And she gets the baby and she's sort of trying to get back up. So shot in the dark.
Okay, it's time. All right, Leah. Oh, God, what do I want to go with here? Let's do this one.
I'm going like Ninja Throwing Star Shuriken situation.
My God, that's Ninja Star.
Yeah.
That's Ninja Star. It's Ninja Star.
Oh, yes. I win. Okay.
Very nice. Can't
Thank
use
you.
that one again. There's one that doesn't make sense. It's on the weapons menu, and I can't wait to use it.
Okay, well, that one was definitely a shuriken.
I'll do it later tonight.
Excellent. I hope I'm saying that word right. Anyway, whatever.
Just say Ninja Star. Is what this one
Ninja
says.
Star.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, shot in the dark. What? Fucking stop it. What did the man do next? Did he A, pull both to safety with the rope, B, leave them dangling on the rope, or C, cut the rope and drown them both?
I'm going to say he did like a badass movie villain and just walked away with them hanging on the rope.
You're incorrect.
Shit.
According to the story, this asshole, drunk as he is, goes off to the woodpile, grabs an axe, and severs the rope in twain, leaving his wife and child in the well to drown to death.
All right, new got it wrong, shot in the dark.
That is incredibly long for something like that.
All right, let me find another one.
No, that one's fine.
It doesn't have to be right now, but let's see what compressed air sounds like. That'll work.
I don't like
Incorrect.
that. Anyway. I don't like that at all. Yeah, you're going to have to come up with something better than that. But anyway, so he does, in fact, basically murder the wife and child and walks away, feeling fine about it.
You ever been rope cut and drunk?
I have not been ever that drunk. But anyway, so...
Yeah, I was about to say, that dog's been an asshole the whole time.
He will not leave me alone, and I'm ready to throw him.
Just put him on the table.
I might get dog throwing drunk.
Yeah. He's
but
very
definitely
throwable,
not baby
too.
drowning drunk.
He's throwable, and he won't land on his feet like the cat. He's just a little dough ball.
He is the worst. Our little dog Dobby, for
Dobby,
those
come
of
here,
you
bud.
who aren't watching the video, he's an absolute jerk. But it's fine. He's sweet and cute and fluffy. But yeah,
None
so
of those
he
things.
drowns the mom and the baby, and he leaves town. And he...
But-
he leaves town because obviously he realizes when he wakes up the next day that he's, murdered two people and he should probably leave before the townsfolk come after him. So he leaves town, never to be seen again. The townsfolk retrieve the bodies of the child and the woman. But it is said that mountain and that location is still haunted by the ghost of the woman and the child. And it's said that when the moon is full, you can walk by that area and still hear the screams of a woman and a baby screaming. And it's supposed to just be like super creepy and spooky and just bleh. Bleh.
I do. I know exactly what that means.
It's one of those fun, like,
Dobby,
local
stop.
haunting Halloween-y kind of stories that I like it. But that particular story was taken from an author named Philip Steele, and it's in a book called Ozark Tales and Superstitions.
Oh, excuse me.
And yeah, it's just a neat series of books that he wrote about all sorts of stuff, but different like legends, folklores, that kind of stuff. So recommend those if you're interested in it. But I thought it was a fun little local Arkansas tale that I enjoyed.
Ozarkansas? So you said it's Ozark? There's an Ozark, Arkansas, so it's Ozarkansas?
No, that's the name of the mountains, I think.
Okay.
The Ozarks.
Yeah, because there's an Ozark, Alabama.
There is.
I know that one.
There is an Ozark, Alabama.
I imagine there are a lot of Ozarks.
Probably, but I think this is specifically referring to the mountain range.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a fun first story about child and lady murder.
But the guy fought a baby for a minute. I mean, he murdered it.
Are they
but-
ghosts? Do they
Yeah.
come back and haunt things?
Yeah, they're ghosts. Mostly what I've read online is most people report hearing the sounds and not really the apparition, but they also hear, or not hear, but like report floating orbs, ghostly glows, that kind of thing in the area. So yeah, for the most part, it's just an auditory haunting.
Yeah.
But, you know, fuck around and find out. I don't know. There might be a little ghost baby down there, and it's just
auditory
like...
till you get baby fighting drunk. Then you get up in that bitch, and it's like, ooh, you got to fight this ghost baby.
I don't want to fight a ghost baby, y'all. You know that's one of the scariest things to me is like...
Just children in general.
Children, well, yes, babies in general.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not like... I am a little scared of them, but like
Yeah.
it's more that I'm scared of hurting them than it is that I'm scared of them themselves. I don't like their hands. I don't
Children are
like
vicious.
disproportionately like small hands, but like I'm always terrified. Like if you've got a baby, I will appreciate that baby from afar, because please don't give me your baby to hold,
I will
because I'm
look
terrified.
at the pictures on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm terrified that I'm going to drop a baby. That's why, like, I'm not, like, anti-baby. I just don't want to hurt one because they're very tiny and delicate. So that's my anti-baby situation. It's not that I don't like them. It's just that they're delicate and I am clumsy as fuck.
It's just that you're anti-hurting them.
Yeah, exactly.
By being in your presence.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I support that.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's
Also
our
the
second
tiny
story?
hands. Anyway.
Yeah, you hate the tiny hands.
Please don't like little hands.
I've just always wanted to get two of those little finger hands. You know, the little hands that go on the tips of your fingers.
No.
And like,
No.
it just fuck with you, but not like put them in your face, but like rub your arm or something like that with the little hands.
If anybody sends those to our P.O. box, I swear.
Sounds like an invitation.
It is not, I swear.
Sounds
You
like
will
an
get
invitation.
retaliation in the form of the most glitter that you have ever seen in your life. Don't play with me. Okay.
Jesus, Leah.
I'm sorry. Tiny hands.
Viewer
are
discretion
terrifying.
is advised.
Leah's angry.
I just don't want any of those stupid things, because I've had friends, they're like, hey, we should get Leah some of those, put them in the mailbox. Fuck no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because if I unbox those, and I am the person that generally goes to the mail, I will retaliate with an envelope full of glitter. Just warning.
Yeah. So do what the people who used to send drugs into prison when I checked the mail did. Put on a fake return address.
God damn it, Mitchell.
No problem.
Foiled again.
Like every time without fail that you got an envelope that had drugs in it, it was just it was like 123 Main Street. You know?
Okay. Fine.
Every time. Fake person, everything. So yeah, y'all can do that.
All right.
You get
So
away
you
with it.
foiled my glitter envelope plans. Thanks for that, Mitchell.
Yep.
I was trying to be
We will track
retaliatory.
you down like the fucking Unabomber.
No, that's a bit much. It's
Soon as you
definitely
send us
not
your
like
manifesto.
it's not like a taken situation. I'm not Liam Neeson. I'm not gonna find you. just don't send creepy hands. That's all I ask.
The title of this episode is Send Crazy Hands.
Please don't.
I'm going to put don't in parentheses. So
Leah
don't
is not a Liam Neeson type.
And then-
Please don't send.
send
tiny
crazy
hands.
hands. The name of this episode is Leah Neeson.
But cha.
There we go.
Anyway, so we have a long story for the second story, and
Oh.
I think we should probably like get into that.
All right,
because
settle in, everybody.
It's
I'm
going
gonna
to take
be
a
here.
hot minute, and I think you're going to enjoy it because I did.
Perfect.
Also, it's a really well-known topic. We're going to be talking about Bonnie and Clyde.
Yay, Bonnie and Clyde.
It's fun.
I saw
It's-
that movie when I was a child.
Yeah, me too. It's a fun, interesting, like, true crime story. There's no ghosts, just
Yeah.
BT dubs. This is definitely in the crew crime.
Crew Crime.
The true crime genre
Yeah.
of this story, and it does range a little bit all over the place, but it does start in Texas. It ends in Louisiana. I'm gonna take it. So we're going to be talking about Bonnie and Clyde, and I'm just going to hit the high points because this is a very long, involved. They're multi-hour-long documentary series about this story, and I'm not going to get that into like the weeds and the details of it. I just want to
Yeah.
tell the story for people that don't know anything beyond the movie, and a lot of people haven't even seen that movie either. So there you go.
Yeah, it was made in what, 67?
Yeah, it's
or
like
something?
Warren Beatty and
Is it Faye Dunaway?
Faye Dunaway, I think. Yeah. So, like I said, it's a pretty old movie. Some of the younger folks might not have seen it, but I did grow up watching that kind of movie, and I enjoyed it. So, anyway,
we were
this
both
is
probably too young to see that
oh,
movie.
most definitely. But most of the movies that I watched when I was a kid and the books that I read were way too advanced for me. But my dad didn't care, so that's why my personality
and
is the way it
your mother
is.
was not attached. Just like at all. Just do whatever. I don't
No,
care.
it's just that my mom was a lot more interested in being like the permissive parent than, so if I could get my dad to say yes to something, I could probably do it. You know what I mean? And he didn't keep me from reading anything. And I think that he thought that since I was reading stuff that was more advanced than I probably should have been,
Mom, Mom, can I start a baby fighting ring? Ask your father. Dad, can I? And then you like whisper it, and he's like, "What? Can I start a baby? Whatever. Yeah, just do it."
Look, I'm a weird kid. There are reasons. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, I did watch that movie probably younger than I should have. But at any rate, this is just going to be sort of hitting the highlights of that story. And it's definitely just going to show where Hollywood definitely glamorized these folks to where I don't know that that's really I don't think that should have happened.
Yeah, I agree.
The whole situation is a lot more fucked up than I remember it being.
Yeah, they killed a lot of people.
Yeah, they killed they murdered a lot of people.
Yeah.
And in my mind, just thinking back on it, like just before I started doing research about it and, started actually looking into it, I was like, oh, they robbed a couple of banks. They were, they were lovers on the run. No, they murdered a lot of fucking people.
Yeah. And wasn't Bonnie real young, too? Wasn't she a lot younger than him?
No, she really wasn't.
Okay.
She was a little bit younger, but not by as much as you're thinking.
Okay, never mind.
But anyway, so...
Well, I'm sure we'll get into it.
We will. But so she was born in 1910, and he was born in 1909. So they were, like, right close to each other's age. Mm-hmm.
All right. Never mind.
Okay. So, let's get started on Bonnie and Clyde.
Yay!
Okay. So, Bonnie Elizabeth Parker was born on October the 1st of 1910. She, there we go. Found it.
Mm-hmm.
I highlighted it and was reading the wrong line. Anyway.
I'll bet you were.
I'm the worst. But anyway, Bonnie Elizabeth Parker was born in 1910 in Rowena, Texas. She was the second of three children. Her dad died pretty early on. I think she was only about a year old when he died. And her mom, whose name was Emma Parker, decided to move the family away from Rowena, Texas, and they moved into her parents' home in Cement City, which is sort of a manufacturing kind of suburb of West Dallas. And so she ended up setting up shop there as a seamstress. And as Bonnie got older, sometimes she worked with her mom as a seamstress. Sometimes she worked, doing odd jobs in waitressing and that kind of thing. But, So in her second year of high school, so as a sophomore in high school, she started getting into the whole like bad choices in men situation at a very young age. So she met a guy named okay.
Clyde?
No. There's a first guy. She actually marries this one. His name is Roy Thornton. He started dating her and very shortly after ended up getting married to her. So they married on September the 25th of 1926, 6 days before her 16th birthday. So her first marriage, her only marriage, was when she was 15.
Jesus.
Yeah. And this guy was not a good person either.
Well, kind of guy that would marry a 15-year-old, Leah.
I mean, it's not great.
He's the pinnacle of society.
Yeah, he was only 2 years older than her, though. So, I mean, it could have been worse. Like,
still, at 17, I knew not to fuck with 15-year-olds. Just say it.
Agreed. But, it was a different time.
Those 17-year-olds, though, man.
Gross. Anyway, so they got married, and unfortunately, he liked to do crimes a lot, and so he got in jail a lot, and so he wasn't there very often.
He got in jail a lot.
He did. He He got in jail a lot.
Every once in a while, you just go slightly airhead, and I fucking love it. It makes me so happy. He got in jail a lot.
He did.
Okay.
And eventually she just got bored of it and was just like, oh, fuck this guy. Like, he's not going to stay around to be my husband. I don't really give a fuck about this dude. Bye. So after about 3 years, not even 3 full years, like 2.5 years, they just stopped being together. She was still wearing his wedding ring when she died. She never divorced him. And he still thought of her like he was in prison when they ended up dying. And he was just like, yeah, I'm glad, you know.
Boy, bye.
Yeah, that's exactly how she was feeling. But he was just like, whatever, you know, like I'm sad she's dead, but like we didn't really, you know, whatever.
What does that mean?
I mean, he just was sort of non-committed. It wasn't like
I've been in jail a lot. I do think, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, to him, I think it was just more like, you know, I mean, I was married to her once, but like it's not a deep connection. I'm not heartbroken and soul crushed that she left me. It was just like, hey, we married when we were kids. It didn't work out, and like divorce is expensive. So like, yeah, whatever, you know? But anyway, so that was her first marriage only marriage. And that didn't, you know, work out too great. And after they like stopped talking to each other and just sort of drifted apart, Bonnie moves back in with her mom, and she ends up working as a waitress in Dallas. And she ends up actually dating a guy that was a postal worker at the time named Ted Hinton, and ends up, spoiler alert, in the posse that ends up killing her at the end. Fucking weird, God. Man. Her taste in it is strange.
First of all, more of a spoiler alert, please.
I'm just saying. I did say spoiler alert, and everybody knows how this story ends, so...
Well,
yeah.
I'm just finding out.
So she ends up marrying that guy, or not marrying him, but like dating that guy for a while. But you know, she ends up just being like really bored and depressed and lonely and just like, man, Dallas kind of blows, you know, whatever. So anyway, we've gotten Bonnie up to the point where she meets Clyde. So now let's talk about Clyde. Shot in the dark.
Okay. All right, everybody, remember this is on the weapons section.
Okay.
Okay. Leah, this is your chance to guess. Shot in the dark.
Laser cannon?
No, that's a very good guess, though. You want to try one more time? Let's see.
Particle beam.
No. That is called, I believe it's a Men in Black reference. It's called Loud Cricket.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's have it one more time.
Because it was called a noisy cricket in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I believe that's what that was.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Fine.
So anyway, what is what's the question?
Shot in the dark. What was Clyde's middle name? Mitchell.
You said it again. What was his middle name? Go ahead.
What was Clyde's middle name? Was it A, pecan, B, hickory, or C, chestnut?
God, I hope it's pecan so bad. I really do. You should have made it hazelnut because of the rum.
Well, I didn't know what rum you were going to pick when I wrote the questions. Hickory, pecan, or chestnut?
I like chestnut. I'm going with chestnut.
You're correct.
Yay.
His name is Clyde Chestnut Barrow.
Do you hear this new thing?
I like it. That's nice.
Yeah, isn't it?
Hand me the shot.
Okay.
And patter for a minute. This is a rough shot.
Well, I'm going to try. Yeah, it's a little hazelnutty. Do you have enough of stuff? Because I've got some sour ale over here.
I think I'm okay.
Okay. You can go for it. Let's try some different sound effects, everybody. Things that we've never done before. Let's see.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Let's see what vacuum is.
Stop with the sound effects.
Sounds like a vacuum.
That is just irritating.
Weird.
Ugh. I'm like a dog. I've got a visceral reaction to that sound, and I don't like it.
That was water impact. Let's see what zipper is. Oh, weird. What do you know?
Sounds like a zipper. Who would have guessed?
What is Timeberg? Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that one a lot.
Can we stop? I'm done now. We are never going to get anywhere if you keep doing that.
Don't touch his feet. Look what happens when you touch his feet. He gets very upset.
I was just petting the dog.
No,
Come
don't
on.
pet his feet. You know he doesn't like that.
Anyway, so yes, his name is Clyde Chestnut Barrow, which I think is fucking funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was born in 1909. He was born to a family that was a lot poorer than Bonnie's was. And Bonnie's family was not rich by any means, but like...
But he was dirt poor.
He was dirt poor.
Yeah.
And he was born in a family of... he was the fifth of 7 children. And his dad's name was Henry Basil Barrow, which I think is
Basil?
great. Like plants for
Yeah.
middle names. Like...
Why was he not Clyde Herbe de Provence? Clyde Saffron.
Oh, I like it. I would...
See, that would be a good one. I like the name Saffron.
Clyde Marjoram Barrow, you know?
Zach
I like it.
Saffron. He was good in that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
That one movie.
Yeah, that one. But anyway, so he was the 5th of 7 kids. And his mom's name was... it's spelled C-U-M-I, so I'm going to say Cummy, but
Cummy.
it looks Cummy.
Come on, Cummy.
Henry Barrow and Cummy Walker.
Oh, Leah.
Anyway, so yeah, eventually his family ends up moving in the early part of the 20s. So they move. Stop it, Dobby. They move out of the rural area, and a lot of people were doing that at the time because I guess just the farming situations were not great. And so they end up moving out of the rural farming area and into a slum in West Dallas. And they were so poor that their first months living in Dallas, they were literally living all like, so there's 7 kids and 2 adults. So that many, 10? 9.
9. There you go. Leah. Like, you're bad at math, but come the fuck on.
The 9 people in their family were literally living underneath their wagon until they could get enough money to buy it, like a tent.
That's awful.
To buy a tent.
Yeah.
Not a house, a tent.
But, like, imagine living under the wagon while it's raining. Like, how nice would that be?
Not nice at all.
But, like, it would be soothing.
It would be, like,
Because of the rain.
fucking terrible because you would be out in the rain and freezing your tits off.
That's true, too.
It would be absolutely miserable. So, like I said, she grew up poor. He grew up in, like...
Squalor.
Like poverty.
Beat you to the word. Beat you to the word, because that's one of my favorite words. I like the word squalor.
It
I
was
just
a
think it sounds
problem.
nice.
So yeah, clearly he didn't have the funds to like grow up well. So anyway, he first gets arrested in 1926, the age of 17, because the police arrested him because he kept a rental car longer than he should have. And by that, I mean he had no intention of returning the rental car.
Right.
So he stole a car and, he got arrested. His second arrest was for he and his brother stole a whole bunch of turkeys. Not great. But, still petty theft in my personal opinion. Yeah. It was, starting to be the Depression and all that shit. So stolen turkeys I can overlook. But, he worked a few like actual jobs here and there. But while he was working those regular jobs, he also learned how to crack safes, and he robbed some stores, and he stole people's cars, and, was just pretty ne'er-do-welly, but nothing like serious, nothing murdery, just sort of like, stealing to make ends meet, have a little bit of fun kind of situation. He's not the hardened criminal that he would become later. But at the age of 19 years old, he meets Bonnie.
Yay.
And
she was 18.
She was 18.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all fine.
And they meet in... they met on January the 5th of 1930 because Bonnie didn't have a job at the time, and she ends up living with her friend who had just broken her arm, and she was living with her friend, helping her out, cleaning, cooking, that kind of thing, just helping around while she didn't have a job or a place to live. So she's in the kitchen of this girl's house making some hot chocolate. Clyde comes over to see this girl and ends up seeing Bonnie and is like, holy fuck, she's hot. And she's like, oh yeah, that's the dreamboat right there.
That's that old chestnut.
That chestnut.
How about, just speaking of real quick, I want to deviate real quick.
Okay.
I was thinking very recently about how much it would suck to break my right arm, like to have it in a cast, because I'm right-handed. I do literally everything right-handed.
I've done it like 3 times. It sucks really hard.
But like, how do you get through everything? Like,
very difficult.
I'm just saying, luckily now we have like a bidet.
Yeah.
But
You
the
can
nozzle's
wipe
on
with
the
your
right
left hand.
side, though. The
You
nozzle's on the right side.
Usually when you break your arm, your fingers are out. It's when you break your
Yeah.
hand that it really sucks.
Because see, even then, like, what if I'm one of those people that has to have it elevated, Like, is that just the thing that happens in movies? Or,
If for something like that to heal in that particular direction, it has to be like almost a clean break. I've only ever had fractures in that arm, so I've broken my hand and I've broken my arm twice in 2 places on the right hand. So yeah, it sucks. But the worst part, I broke my arm that way in the 6th grade the first time. I broke it right below my elbow and right above my elbow, so in 2 places. So I had to have the cast that like keeps your arm bent like that the whole time.
Leah.
And I broke it right before final exams that year. And so like I'm over here like trying to bubble in these fucking letters with this big old cast on and just anyway, I ended up getting out of the written portion of an English exam because the teacher didn't want to have to read my terrible handwriting because I was trying to,
You could dictate it?
I could have, but I was already making a really good grade in that class and the teacher was like, I don't give a fuck. So I didn't have to. Ms. Bittner liked me, but anyway, it was a rough first arm break, but after you've broken it once, you kind of get used to it. The worst part is itching.
Yeah, with having to scratch it and it's under the cast. Yeah.
I would much rather have an arm break than a leg break. The leg breaks, those casts, oh my God. Because at least if you've got an arm break, you can generally like keep it out of the shower. You can easily bag it up yourself. But if it's a leg, like you can't take a bath. You have to take a shower. Or you have to like get a shower chair and stick your leg out. It's very complicated. 0 out of 10 would not recommend breaking a leg. But, there you go.
Well, I'm so sorry that I said anything.
Yeah, you kind of derailed. That's the word. You derailed me. But anyway, so they meet. She's making hot chocolate. He sees her. She sees him, and it is like smitten at first sight. It is, hey boy, hey girl, And they have this like little moment, and then they decide to like do crimes together.
Yeah.
They don't actually. So they see each other, they meet, they immediately are smitten with each other and they start talking. And they like each other a lot and they start dating and that kind of thing. But then, unfortunately, Clyde does the crimes, like I said before, and he ends up at the age of 21. So just after they met, he was, I think, 20 and she was 19 when they met. And so just a few months after they had started dating, he gets sent to the Eastham Prison Farm in April of 1930. And this is one of my favorite things, though, is... So he talks her, this girl that he's been like dating casually for a few months, he's writing her letters and she's writing him letters. And eventually,
so they were just fuck buddies though at the time?
I don't think fuck buddies is the right word, but like they were casually dating. And he convinces this woman that he's casually dating to smuggle him a pistol into prison.
How'd she do it? Where'd she put it?
I think it was just under her dress, and like people didn't suspect women of being nefarious at the time, and so she just was able to sneak it to him that way.
They're the most nefarious.
But it was him and his cellmate, he and his cellmate like kind of wrote this letter to her and was like, hey, well, you're like a nice kid, but can you like get us a pistol or something?
Please.
And she did, which is weird.
Yeah.
But
it's really weird.
So he ends up breaking out, but he gets recaptured very quickly after and sent back to prison. And prison was where the mild criminess turns into like hardened criminal, murdering a lot of people criminal situation. Because it was a really bad situation in this prison. He was sexually assaulted multiple times in prison. And he ends up like retaliating against the person that's doing this to him and ends up like crushing his skull with a pipe. Like, it's pretty rough.
Good God.
Yeah.
Leah.
It's rough. It's real rough. I'm not going to go into all the details because there are worse details than that. But my point is that he becomes a hardened criminal. Something breaks in his psyche over that assault, and he kills his first person, and then like that sets him on this path of like, the prison doesn't give a fuck about the people, no one gives a fuck about the people, so I don't give a fuck about anybody else. And this sort of starts his whole vendetta against the
machine.
The Texas
man.
Department of Corrections specifically.
Right.
He just ends up having a vendetta against them, and he wants, above all, to fuck up police officers specifically, and even more specifically than that prison, the Eastham Prison Farm. He wants to obliterate that place. You know what I mean? Like, that is his source and his locus of being at that point. He wants to fuck it up. That's what he's out for, is revenge. So yeah, that's kind of where you get the weird sort of shift from petty criminal to hardened murderer. So yeah. So he gets returned back to this prison. All of that stuff happens. He ends up killing this guy, but another inmate who was already serving a life sentence for murder was like, no problem, bro. I'll take the heat for you because I'm already in here. What are they going to do? Life sentence me again? So he claimed responsibility for killing the other inmate. So, Clyde didn't get, that's not a good word for that.
What were you about to say?
I was going to say pegged, and that's definitely not the right word. He got
pegged, it sounds like. So
he didn't have that murder pinned on him by the authorities, but he did, in fact, kill his first person there. So, and now this is where some of the wacky, goofy history situation just is so strange. So this particular prison farm obviously has a lot of hard labor elements to it. They are physically using them as slave labor, basically. And so in order to escape doing this hard field labor detail, he either does it himself or has someone else do it for him. Not sure of the two. But he has 2 of his toes chopped off.
Jesus.
In January of 1932, he does it himself or he arranges someone to do it for him, but he gets 2 toes chopped off. But something that he didn't know was that he was already set to be freed 6 days after he chops his toes off, just scot-free, because his mom had been writing these petition letters to get him released, and she was successful. So he could have just not cut the toes off and been out in the same amount of time.
That is awful.
Yeah.
I'm so upset.
He willingly cuts 2 toes off, and if he had just waited a week, it would have been fine. But because of that, he walked with a pretty pronounced limp for the rest of his life because he chopped off some of his toes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. So he ends up being paroled from the prison. And basically everybody that knew him and spoke about him retrospectively basically said, that situation, that entire situation is how he turned from like a jolly kind of schoolboy to, stealing things and to I'm going to murder everybody kind of thing. So that was his like breaking point. So after he gets out of that place, he starts robbing grocery stores and gas stations. He does a couple of bank robberies and that kind of thing. His weapon of choice is the M1918 Browning automatic rifle. He likes to steal those things and shoot people with them. I don't really know much about guns, but that apparently was the gun of choice for him and for a lot of people at the time. And he really wasn't in it to be like a gangster or a bank robber like some of the other people that were famous in the time for being. He just wanted to fuck people up because because he wanted to get back at the Texas prison system.
Yeah.
So he ends up hanging out with Bonnie again, and they start getting other friends to hang out with them. And I'm not going to go over all of the members of the Barrow gang because there's a fuck ton of them. But anyway, just sort of hitting the highlights of some of the crimes and how they ended up getting, ambushed at the end. So, after he was released from prison, he starts robbing mostly gas stations, convenience stores. He wasn't really looking to collect money, like a little bit of money, but not crazy. He's not robbing banks. He's not. Sometimes they would just rob something to have fun to rob it. It's not like they were getting a bunch of money. The places that they were hitting, they might have gotten a couple dollars at a time. You know what I mean? Like it was very low stakes money wise. They just enjoyed creating havoc, I think. And their whole goal was to get a bunch of guns so they could raid that prison that fucked him up so bad. And so they end up...
When you say raid it, are they going in there to get something or just to kill people?
Just to kill people, I think.
Yeah.
Especially guards and stuff like that. I think that's what he... And to free prisoners. I think that's what he was in it for.
Yeah.
So on April the 19th, Bonnie.
Oh, Barney Chestnut.
Him and Bonnie, and then his old cellmate, Mr. Fultz is his last name. They all end up getting arrested because they failed to correctly burgle a hardware store. And so they had intended to go in and get firearms, but that didn't work out too well. And then anyway, Bonnie ends up getting put in prison, and so does the Fultz guy. Clyde got away. But eventually Bonnie gets released from jail in a couple months because the grand jury failed to indict her because women can't do bad things, don't you know?
I do know that.
And so they just let her off, and then the Fultz guy was tried of the crime, convicted of it, but he served his time, and he was like, yeah, if I keep hanging out with Bonnie and Clyde, I'm going to end up in the ground real soon. So he just never rejoined their gang after that happened. Smart dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, then let's see, Clyde...
You having trouble? Is the dog bothering you?
The dog, the shot, and the wine are really combining to a clusterfuck of my verbal skills right now. But
That's
anyway,
the name of your next album. Clusterfuck of my verbal skills.
Exactly. So Clyde ends up being the getaway driver in a robbery in Hillsborough. And in that particular robbery, the store owner was shot and killed, and the store owner's wife ends up identifying Clyde from police photographs as one of the shooters, and so he is wanted for that particular crime as well, and eventually I believe later that same year, him and another two members of their gang, Raymond Hamilton and Ross Dyer, they were all drinking outside of like a little country dance in Oklahoma when the sheriff, C.G. Maxwell, and his deputy Eugene Moore come up to the guys in the parking lot saying, hey, you kind of can't drink here. And obviously that's not going to go over great with a dude that absolutely hates police officers and authority and all of that stuff. Yeah. So they just don't say anything. They just open fire on him, and they kill the deputy, and they gravely wound the sheriff. And so the deputy was the first police officer that they actually killed, and they eventually end up murdering like 9. Yeah. So, and they're not the only people that they murdered, but like especially people that they were after were law enforcement. And on October 11th, later that same year, they killed a man named Howard Hall, who was also a store owner during a robbery in Sherman, Texas. Anyway, they have
Leah's
another...
laughing because our other dog is over here by me.
All of the dogs are being assholes right now, man.
Just complaining.
But anyway, they have a friend, a young guy, end up joining their gang. He's only 16. He joins them. His name is W.D. Jones, and he ends up joining the gang on Christmas Eve of 1932. He was only 16 years old, and the day after he joins, he ends up that very next day on Christmas murdering a guy named Doyle Johnson. And they stole his car.
Jesus.
Yep. And then that same, I think it was in January, so very shortly afterwards, Clyde ends up killing another deputy, a man named Malcolm Davis. And so like the police had tried to set up a trap for another criminal, and they end up falling for the trap that wasn't even like intended for them. And so they just had to shoot their way out to avoid getting arrested. So they end up shooting that guy. So then his brother, Buck, and his wife, Blanche, end up joining the gang as well.
That's a name I missed. Blanche.
Blanche and Buck.
Yeah.
So they end up joining the gang, and they all set up a temporary hideout in Joplin, Missouri. And they hang out there for a while, and they're carousing and drinking and having a good time. They play a lot of cards. Blanche said later, because she was the longest surviving member of this particular gang, and Blanche said that they were drinking about a case of beer a day. People were coming and going, having fun. You know, it was one of the better times to be a part of this gang. And apparently Clyde accidentally shot off one of his rifles in the apartment while he was cleaning it. And no one had the guts to go to the house, none of the neighbors. But one of the neighbors most definitely reported that to the police department. And the police were like, well, shit, I think we found him. There you go. Anyway.
Well, I'll be shit.
So the police assembled a force to sort of confront them, and they thought they were bootleggers, but eventually they realized that they were not in fact bootleggers, and they were the Barrow gang. And so the Barrows opened fire at these cops, and they end up killing Detective Harry McGinnis, and then they fatally wounded Constable J.W. Harriman.
Good God.
And so they opened fire on that patrol. They also hit Sergeant let me try again. G.B. Kaler.
How do you spell that? K-G...
It's a K and a...
5 E's in a row.
There's a lot of E's. I don't know, man. I'm mildly drunk. I still have problems with COVID stuttering. I'm very tired, so I'm sorry if none of this is coming out correctly. And apparently, Blanche at the time, so like, they got everybody into the car. They were trying to get everybody in the car, but the only person that wasn't like in the car was Blanche. And Blanche was running down the street trying to get her dog, her asshole dog named Snowball. So she ends up getting the dog. And ends up getting pulled into the car as well, and they're running away. And apparently the officers that survived that shootout end up testifying that they had only shot 14 rounds in like the shootout, and one of the shots actually did hit Clyde, but it was deflected by a suit coat button, and it sort of just ricocheted off, and it grazed the other guy. But yeah, so they came real close to shooting him there.
What are his buttons made out of?
I mean, steel at the time, most likely.
Were they really? Mm-hmm. Buttons were made out of steel?
I mean, it could have been steel, it could have been pot metal, it could have been aluminum, it could have been any number of things.
But plastic hadn't taken over by that
No,
point.
It would have been celluloid at that point, and he would be wearing older clothes because he was poor, is my guess. And so, yeah, it would have been a metal button, most likely, if it was a suit coat. Just fashion history. Thought you should know.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, buttons.
A lot of buttons are still made out of metal. Less
Oh, shit.
hot. Dobby.
Can you not just push the dog?
Can you get him off the goddamn table?
Put him on the fucking table.
Because he wouldn't stop licking my knees. I don't like it when dogs lick my knees. It's the worst.
Oh, for those only listening, Leah just pushed the dog into everything on the table.
I didn't.
Knocked
okay,
over
I
the
did push him a
moonshine.
little, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did push him.
will you get the dog?
No, he's fine.
Anyway.
He's done now.
Yeah, so they ended up escaping that situation in Joplin, but they ended up leaving behind most of their possessions at that apartment, including Buck's parole papers, and he had only been paroled for 3 weeks at that point, so not a great look for him. They also left behind a large arsenal of weapons, some handwritten poetry by Bonnie, because Bonnie wrote a lot of poems, and you can still read them. Some of them were okay, but...
They're no solitary sparrow, I'll tell you that.
Fuck you, Mitchell. But yeah, she did end up writing, like, it's called The Story of Bonnie and Clyde is one of the stories.
Oh, that's cute.
That she actually wrote down. But
she penned the screenplay.
She did not. But anyway, so they found her poetry. They found a camera with a bunch of rolls of undeveloped film because Bonnie was really interested in photography and she liked taking pictures and all of that stuff. So they found all of this shit at their situation there in Joplin. And so they got a lot of those, the police there recovered all of this stuff, and they end up developing these photos, and they end up developing photos, and the photos are of them posing with weapons and cigars and doing fun, like, you know, like photo booth nonsense, like how you would go to one of those old-timey photo booth setups and like pretend to be gangsters. Well, they actually were gangsters, and they were just having fun and posing as themselves, you know what I mean? Like sacks of money and, you know, that kind of thing. It was just goofy, fun photos of each other, holding weapons and pointing weapons at the camera and that kind of thing.
Yeah, having a grand old time.
And you can see most of these photos are still online, but one of them that really captivated people was a photo of Bonnie, and she's posing with this cigar, and it gets out that, I mean, they publish these photos in the newspaper, and they just captivate the entire American public. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. These are real people. They're, you know, it's a glamorous kind of thing. She's posing and she's a gritty kind of girl, you know, like, and she's, you know, rather attractive, and she's this woman with all this gang of criminals around her, and, you know, it sort of, the photos lent themselves to being a bit of a story making kind of thing for them, and so they sort of captivated an audience, and that's sort of the beginning of the folklorization, I think, of their story. But it really bothers Bonnie that everybody thinks that she smokes cigars because of these photos, because she didn't. She smoked cigarettes, but she did not smoke cigars, and she thought that was super manly, and she hated it. That everybody thought she was this like cigar smoking woman, you know, and and
those are nasty.
Yeah,
cigar
and that will actually come up later, and I think it's funny. But anyway,
am I right?
I don't like cigars. I think they smell really bad, but I don't like any sort of tobacco. But, you know, just not me. I have lung problems, so of course I'm not a tobacco kind of person. But
I love tobacco.
Anyway,
tobacco's so nice.
I'm sure it's nice, but it's very bad for your lungs. And I grew up with a respiratory therapist, so
and respiratory issues.
Respiratory therapist, respiratory issues. It was a culmination of the, you know,
Mom, can I
can't
try
breathe,
a cigar?
and also my mom would have murdered me. So there you go.
Can I please try a cigar? Ask your father.
No, when I was a little kid. So my mom, once again, was a respiratory therapist, and growing up, she did a lot of, she ran a support group for older adults that were suffering from COPD, and a lot of them had smoked all of their lives. So I ended up helping out a lot with her support groups for the older people that smoked. And one of those things was they had someone come around that had like a pair of smoker's lungs, like an actual pair of lungs that came out of a smoker.
Like in a jar?
Like they're pretty big. So it was in like a display case that like kind of pulled them out. Anyway, I saw smoker's lungs, like literal physical smoker's lungs, from a very young age, and that was enough to do me. Like, I'm good.
Let's see what the cough sound effect is like on here.
Sounds like a cough.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah. Crunch chips.
How did that have anything to do with lungs?
It doesn't, but it's next. Thought I'd try it.
But yeah, if you ever want to deter your children from smoking, just from a very early age, expose them to real human lungs that have smoked for 30 years. It's terrifying. Anyway, or don't. It is scarring.
Yeah.
but I never smoked, so hey, it worked, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what did it.
No, it really is. I have nightmares about those lungs still. What are you going to do? But yeah, so Bonnie and Clyde became a national news story sensation. And the group ended up committing crimes all the way from Texas as far north as Minnesota. In the next few months, they robbed
We can't talk about any of those.
Yeah, they robbed a bank in Indiana, a bank in Minnesota. They kidnapped a lot of people. Some people they kidnapped and stole their car, and they were like, oh, hey, you seem like cool people. We're just going to take your car, but they left them like some money to get back to wherever they were. Like they took them away so they couldn't like immediately tell people that they had been like kidnapped or whatever. They left them with some money and some clothes and said, hey, you know, we're not going to hurt you. Other people they kidnapped and killed, you know, you never knew what it was going to be. It was a mixed bag with them.
Jesus.
But they kidnapped a man named Dillard Darby and a woman named Sophia Stone in Louisiana while they were trying to steal Darby's car. And they, like I said, they kidnapped him and they sort of just let him go with some money to help him get home. But like I said, those headlines and those stories kind of played into the thought that they weren't as violent as they actually were, because people liked the idea of like this outlaw couple, you know, against the world kind of story that some of the people had going on. But yeah, in fact, they were actually just murdering a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there were other members of the Barrow Gang that also did some murders. There was a man named Hamilton Jones, Buck, the brother. There was a kid named Henry Methvin, and they end up murdering so many people in so many bad ways that their crimes really end up flaming the public sentiment and like making people realize that, oh, these are actually like a really hardened group of criminals that are trying to actually harm the public and not just this like folkloric, you know, couple, you know. And so those murders really led to the turning of public sentiment against them, which eventually ends up being what causes them to have a price put on their head and people actually seeking to catch them and kill them.
Excuse me.
So they end up, like I said, robbing and all of that stuff. But I'm going to skip down because we're running pretty into this, I think.
Yeah. We've been going almost an hour 20.
Oh, Lord, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so eventually I'm going to hit a couple more highlights. I'm not going to go over everything that I highlighted because there's so much. I'm so sorry. But anyway, they end up accidentally flipping a car in Wellington, Texas, because apparently Clyde can't read fucking signs. And it ends up, they're not sure whether it was a gasoline fire or if it was an acid burn from car battery. But Bonnie ends up getting a burn, a 3rd-degree burn all the way down her right leg. And it was so severe that the muscles start drawing up. And they said that it was burnt clear to the bone in some places from her hip to her ankle. It was really, 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 really bad. She couldn't walk very well. They thought she was going to die just from the fact that it was as bad as it was.
Yeah.
They ended up taking her to a small town. They tried to like get her supplies, but in the way that they try to get supplies, they go to this pharmacist. They're like, hey, we need bandages and some food and some very specific medicine to treat severe burns. And the pharmacist was a little like, oh, okay, sure. And then he immediately contacts the police saying, hey, we got some sketchy motherfuckers up in here. They're doing something weird. So anyway, that sets the police out on them for that. They end up basically the sheriff's office in there shows up with submachine guns and a gun battle ensued, and they end up getting away anyway, because the police accidentally like end up shooting on themselves, and it causes a horn to go off, and everybody thinks, oh, this is a ceasefire, but it wasn't. Lots of tomfoolery and clusterfuckery going on with some of the many ways that they escape when they probably shouldn't have. Eventually, Buck ends up getting shot, and like his brain gets exposed, and he lives for another like 6 days or so with his brain just sort of hanging out, but he ends up dying.
Good.
Like I said, there was
God.
a lot more. I know, right? A lot more arrests and
Say
robberies,
this, no. I'm not petting your
etc.
butt. Fuck off.
But they end up going back to Dallas to hang out with their families because they need to get treatment for Bonnie because her burns are so bad. And she ends up eventually coming to the attention of the Dallas sheriff, and eventually they round up a posse of people, and they end up getting a guy involved. I'm skipping over so much, but
Good.
anyway, they end up
Jesus.
getting an ex-Texas Ranger involved named Captain Frank Hamer. I'm not sure. I think it's Hamer. But
I like
anyway,
the idea of it being Hammer. Frank Hammer.
Hamer. I would think it was Hamer, right?
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, he apparently was just a salty motherfucker, and he was ready to like take down anybody, you know. So they picked this guy. He was retired, but his commission, I guess, hadn't run out. So they bring him back out of retirement, and they say, "Hey, bro, can you are you going to be okay with shooting a lady?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'll shoot a lady, no problem."
Yeah.
So they send this guy out. He, gets together a posse, and it was also including that guy that she had dated briefly before that we had mentioned. And they get all of these people together, and they end up trailing the group around, and they had been moving every so often, visiting each member of the gang's families, but they were doing it in a roundabout way. And the Hamer guy realizes that they're moving in a way where they're trying to skirt the edges of the different states because they were exploiting the state line rule, which keeps officers from pursuing fugitives into another jurisdiction. So they're trying to switch between states as much as possible, try to keep people from coming after them. And the guy realizes it, and he's like, "Oh, I bet I can predict where exactly they're going to be and when they're going to be." So they realize that they're going to be going to one of the group member Methvin's, his family in Louisiana. And so they all are taking a couple different cars, and they end up figuring out where that guy's family lives, and they persuaded the dad to participate, and they had him position his truck on the shoulder of this road that morning where they thought that they were going to be, and they were hoping that he would sort of pull over to sort of chat with the guy because he knows what his car would be, and that, while they had stopped close to the side of the road, they'd come out of the bushes and shoot him up. And that is in fact what happened. So they come by in a V8 Ford, and they come by, they stop, they see the car, they're going to pull over to talk to this man, but instead of talking to the guy, the officers end up firing 130 rounds into their car.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously all of the wounds are fatal for everybody in the car. It was really, really bad. It was super duper gruesome, and you can look at some of the actual, there's still coroner's footage of the ambush, and you can count bullet holes in this vehicle. It is peppered with holes. Really rough, and it became such a sensation in the town that before they could end up getting something to haul the car away into police custody, townspeople and gawkers show up and start removing stuff from the scene.
Jesus.
They pick up bullet casings, they rip off pieces of Bonnie and Clyde's clothing. Someone tried to cut off Clyde's trigger finger. Someone cut locks
Why?
from as souvenirs.
What the fuck?
They took glass and pieces of the car and all sorts of crazy shit. So like I said, that was
A finger's
weird.
not a souvenir, though.
Apparently it was, though. They didn't get it, but they tried. But anyway, their bodies end up being taken to, quote, the Conger Furniture Store and Funeral Parlor in Arcadia, Louisiana.
Wasn't that nice?
It was a combo store, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Meat and stuff.
Yeah, definitely meat and stuff. But yeah, so, and it became, after the story got
Sorry,
out.
food and stuff.
Yeah.
I misspoke.
Yeah, food and stuff. But after the story got out, it became a huge tourist attraction just because people wanted to, like, be where these people had been gunned down. And the town population swelled from like 200 or 2,000 normally to 12,000 within hours. Like, thousands of people showed up just to like be there.
Yeah.
And it caused the price of beer to like raise from 15 cents to 25 cents. Like,
Whoa.
all the food in the town was sold out. Like, it was
Whoa.
just fucking crazy because they had this unexpected influx of visitors.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just fucking weird. But anyway, there's a lot more to the story, and I'm not going to go over it because we're already running so late.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But anyway, nowadays, if you want to visit either of the graves, they are still around. You can visit Bonnie. She was originally buried in the Fish Trap Cemetery in Dallas, but she was moved to the new Crown Hill Cemetery in Dallas in 1945. And he was buried in the Western Heights Cemetery in Dallas, right next to his brother Marvin. And they actually share one granite grave marker with both of their names on it. So, it's a weird, wild, crazy story. And like I said, that was just barely skimming the highlights. So, I encourage people that are actually interested in, all of that stuff to
God,
watch
there's
or
so much
read
more
any
in
of
your
the
notes.
like.
You're
Yeah,
scrolling.
there's so much more of it. That's what I'm saying. I'm like really skipping over this shit. But yeah, there's a lot of different podcasts and documentaries that go over that information. So that's.
So go ingest that media.
Yeah.
Forget what we're doing.
There's so much of it too. The last podcast on the left did a really good Bonnie and Clyde, like 3 or 4 part series. Oh. It was long, but very
I never
interesting.
think to look them up anymore because I don't use Spotify.
Yeah, because they're exclusive to Spotify. But before they moved to Spotify, they did that, and it was a really interesting series.
I haven't looked into what they do in
neither have I.
Like a year or more.
Yeah, I haven't either. But like I said, it's just because I don't get on Spotify.
Yeah,
but
I never use Spotify
because I think their research is really good.
Yeah, that's why they made all that fucking money and went to Spotify.
Yeah, I don't
just
go to
saying,
Spotify.
It was a great show, and I wish that it was more readily available.
Yeah. I mean, it's still free. You just have to go onto a different app.
I just don't use that app.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I mean, sorry.
But yeah, anyway, most of that information was from Wikipedia. There's a History Channel article, and then, a couple of YouTube videos about Bonnie and Clyde.
Couple YouTube videos.
And the movie Bonnie and Clyde. Because why not?
Yeah. But the movie takes a little bit.
A lot of liberties.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of liberties. But anyway, so that was fun. Are you ready to toast? Because I'm ready to stop talking.
Yes. Leah needs to go to
so
bed.
sorry, guys. It's my bedtime.
Go ahead.
But yeah, everybody hoist your wine can high into the sky.
Your empty wine can.
No, I've still got a little bit left.
Oh,
anyway.
come on now.
All right. Don't marry a drunk. If your house has well water, you may end up wet diving after your daughter. There was nowhere to run and nowhere to hide when you get run down by Bonnie and Clyde. Drink.
Not bad, Leah. Not bad. I've noticed that the dog no longer reacts to the bye y'all. She now reacts to the cadence of you giving a toast, and she's going, okay, all right, let's go.
Well,
Speed
to
it
be
up.
fair, it usually only takes an hour, and apparently I've been droning on for much longer than that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, she's very upset. She has been a real terror.
Yeah, it's been a rough day in the Lawrence household, so...
No, it hasn't.
No, it really hasn't, but, there was that windstorm there for a few minutes.
Yeah, didn't even rain.
It rained, but barely.
It was just super windy.
Just thought that the dog was going to get blown out of the damn yard.
Yeah.
Anyway, time to outro so I can go to bed.
Okay, y'all. Thank you for listening. Follow us on all of the social media platforms, even though we don't get on most of them at the moment. But, we're going to, I guess. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. Send us an email, southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Send us little baby hands to P.O. Box 1743.
Don't do that.
Hartselle, Alabama, 35640.
Postcards only.
Is that everything, Leah?
It is.
Okay, well, we will see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all. Don't send baby hands.